Well, this morning, Wednesday, August 25th, the latest episode of Star Wars The Gallery dropped on Disney+. And folks, it's the one everybody's been waiting for. The one, as promised about a month ago, that Disney would release, giving us details of behind the scenes of the final episode of Season 2 of The Mandalorian and the triumphant return of the real Luke Skywalker, the Luke Skywalker that fans across the board were denied with the sequel trilogies. Well, Jon Favreau had a lot to say on the subject, as did Dave Filoni and director Peyton Reed. And with me today to talk about that and some other things, including Spider-Man trailers, a little bit about Marvel, is the one, the only, the great Overlord, Dictor Van Doomcock. Here we go. Renegade Online. Well, here we go. Here we go. Thanks for being here. Another good day here on Valliant Renegade. I want to thank everybody for being here, first of all. And please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not already. I know there's a lot of you watching that aren't yet, and hopefully this will be the day that changes for you. Please also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be alerted to new videos as they drop. Hit that like button on this video, and please hit the share button. That's a big help on YouTube, not only to get the video out, but for the algorithms of YouTube. They really appreciate those. So share it out, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, even if you can. Appreciate that. So was very blessed to have a buddy of mine come on to talk about this. And, of course, he's on the rumor scene. A lot of you guys know this gentleman very well. And for those of you who don't, please make sure you check out his channel. We'll leave a link in the description of this video to go take a look. He is probably one of the best entertainers on YouTube out there, but also gets a lot of good information from Hollywood, rumor sources and things like this. And of course, as he always reminds us, they are rumors. Don't shoot the messenger. You can take them or leave them with a grain of salt, but they are what they are. So we always like to discuss them. So this episode of The Gallery dropped, and it gave us a tremendous amount of behind-the-scenes information of what went into making that final famous episode, probably one of the biggest pop culture moments in the last 20 years at least, the return of the real Luke Skywalker that fans, frankly, were denied thanks to Kathleen Kennedy during the sequel trilogies. For reasons that we can speculate, and we have on this channel many times. You can go back and watch those videos. But it was great to see him in his prime last year in December when it came out. And today we got a video talking about how that was done, including some very heartfelt sentiments about the fans and Star Wars from people like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and director Peyton Reed, who directed that final episode with the return of Luke. And of course, recently we've had new rumors coming out from different sources suggesting that Kathleen Kennedy would be renewed. And in a previous video, I promised there would be a discussion on that. Well, that is this video. So welcome aboard. Glad you're here for this one. And I couldn't think of a better person to bring on than Doomcock himself to have that discussion. And that's what I've been waiting for. We had to work out a good time to get together to do this. So glad you're here to watch it. But the conversation also goes into a little bit about the new Spider-Man trailer, as well as the Phase 4 Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we got to discuss a lot in that 30 minutes. And so without further ado, we're just going to get right into it. Stay tuned. Here we go. So here we are, as promised, my good YouTube buddy, the one, the only, the great Overlord DVD, Dictor Van Doomcock. How are you tonight, sir?
I am doing well. Thank you, Valliant Renegade. It's a pleasure to be here, and we're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars.
We are. You were one of my first inspirations to think about getting on YouTube, and this is really kind of a thrill to have you on here. I never thought 7 months ago when I actually started the channel, I finally got off my duff and did this, that we'd be sitting here talking like this. So thank you so much for being here. I mean, it means a lot, and I really can't thank you enough, and I really truly mean that. So thank you.
Oh, thanks. It's my pleasure. You've been a great friend to me as well, and I enjoy having you on Pop Culture Breakdown Live and everything else, man. And so it's my pleasure to be here. I hope I have something interesting to say.
Oh, I think you will. And on that note, since you brought it up, do please, audience, go out and make sure you're sub to Doomcock's channel, and probably most of you are already, but do check out the Pop Culture Breakdown on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S. And Doomcock, that show, that's a kind of a new show for you. I know it started out as videos, but now it's a new live stream, and that thing seems to have gone gangbusters. You had
It's
2,000
doing well.
people in there. Yeah, you had 2,000 people in there Sunday night talking about some of the things we're about to get into with Star Wars. So, man, it's awesome to see that. So, all right. So, what we're talking about today, of course, is the brand new episode of The Gallery from Star Wars. And when I say Star Wars, these days we're talking about, when it comes to this stuff on Disney Plus, this is definitely the Favreau / Filoni verse. This is not the KK verse. This is the brand of Star Wars that is actually generating a buttload of revenue for Disney and profits for Disney. And this was the episode of The Gallery that a lot of us expected for season 2 way back many months ago, like we got last year after season 1 of Mando, where in this case, we talked about the triumphant return of the real Luke Skywalker. And we finally got that today. And I watched it this morning, and there were some things in there that I thought were very interesting. And I know you and I have talked a little bit before the show tonight, on some of those topics. But I wanted to get your thoughts on a few things. And you and I have had these conversations before on the show. Jon Favreau, in particular, he opens this episode of The Gallery. And the first thing out of this episode, the first thing out of the gate is Favreau talking about his love, his respect for Star Wars, and the seemingly, the reciprocal love and respect that fans seem to have for him, and how they're treating Star Wars respectfully. And that is something that people like you and I have been looking for good Lord years now. So I kind of wanted to get your impressions on, some of Jon Favreau's comments and what you think of the man in general, as this show today from The Gallery kind of started out.
Well, I think that is entirely consistent with what my Hollywood spies have been telling me, and sources and so on have stressed that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, both of them, but in particular Favreau, really care about the fans. They care about Star Wars, but even more importantly, I think they feel the pain of the fans. I think that they really want to please the fans and do a great job with Star Wars, as opposed to using Star Wars as something it's not, which is a political platform for propaganda and woke wankery and so on and so forth. No, these guys get it. They want to go ahead and let Star Wars be Star Wars, and they want it to be the kind of Star Wars that fans are hungry for. So it's entirely consistent that the man is sincere, as far as I have heard, and so is Dave Filoni. I mean, Dave was kind of George Lucas's handpicked successor to some extent after Clone Wars and everything. I wish he had appointed him instead of Kathleen Kennedy, but of course he just didn't have the resume for it at that juncture. Although he would have been absolutely 1,000% better pick than she would have been. But hindsight is always 20/20. What are you going to do?
It is, and certainly I think what you said is just now is absolutely correct. At the time that this sale was made for $4 billion to Disney back in 2012, Filoni, as much as a protege of Lucas, I guess we can call him that, as he was and still is, he did not have that Hollywood gravitas that Kennedy had. And that was where that was going. Of course, her being married to people like Frank Marshall probably helped. Probably helped a lot of her career. So,
yes, her career. She owes her career to two people. Frank Marshall, her husband, and Mrs. Folgers, who makes the coffee that she used to make for Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. Thank you, Mrs. Folgers. Thanks a fuck of a lot.
And for those of you out there right now shaking your heads and kind of wondering if that's just hyperbole, no, I mean, Steven Spielberg himself has had interviews where he's said pretty much almost as much. Let's just put it that way. Kathy was always the one in the room that came up with the worst ideas, at the table.
That's right.
Yeah, they kind of had to laugh it off. So, no, I think, one of the things getting back to the gallery that struck me the most, and we're going to get into some of this Kennedy conversation in just a moment, because there were some comments that made, or the comments that were made in the show by Favreau that tie into some of the recent rumors that we have heard come out from places like Geekosity and Mikey Sutton, who, of course, are, he's a good friend with our good buddies, Andre and Tom over at Midnight's Edge, who, like you, they're reporting, they're conveying information that they receive. They're not guaranteeing its authenticity. They just feel like this is what we've heard. We've got it from a source that we are familiar with, although we can't independently verify the information. This is just a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. I think that's getting lost on a lot of people these days. So that being said, before we get into that part, one of the things that really struck me with Favreau, and I thought was a beautiful story in this episode, was Favreau, Filoni, and even Peyton Reed, who was the episode's director, of course. They were all it was an overwhelming experience to them. They shot that whole scene with Mark Hamill and the whole Luke Skywalker segment. They shot it in one day, which is no small feat. And they did it to try to preserve the secrecy of what was going on. And of course, you've passed along many rumors over time that, nobody at Lucasfilm really seemed to know about this. A good deal of this episode was dedicated towards basically spilling the beans of how they did it, all the way from the original script. Instead of a Jedi, or of course, they didn't name Luke Skywalker, they had Plo Koon in there, who was from the EU and the prequel trilogy.
Right.
And they even, to the point where they mocked up Plo Koon's head on the stunt double's body that was playing Hamill's part, that was circulated. I mean, Favreau went all out to psych everyone out. And
Yes.
but he did say, and I thought this just goes to show how deep a fan Favreau is. And it's been said many times, you don't need a diehard fan to be a showrunner on a franchise like this. You need a good storyteller. But I think with Favreau, we have a great storyteller and we have a diehard fan, because he said, we were shooting this and everybody was overwhelmed when Hamill was walking in the ROJ outfit, the green lightsaber. But Jon Favreau made it a point to say that, he broke down when the R2 robot rolled in behind Hamill into the shot.
Yes.
That we got.
Yes.
And he said that's when I lost it, because R2 is my favorite droid. My favorite Star Wars characters, I think, is what Favreau said. So what is your take on him as a fan?
Well, I've never had the pleasure of meeting him. I'd love to meet him someday and sit down and, talk off the record about all of this. But, my impression of him and everything that I've heard, my Hollywood spies and sources have all basically agreed that the Mandalorian set is a happy set. Everybody likes working with Jon. Everyone respects him. He's very laid back. He's a lot of fun, and just a great guy. I mean, the kind of guy you'd like to hang out with. Dave Filoni, same deal. Dave is a very, from what I've heard, again, I've never had the opportunity to speak with the man. I'd love to, but just a really good guys. And, the problem with Star Wars has not been them. Okay. The problem with Star Wars has been the Lucasfilm story group and all the kind of woke wankers that Kathleen Kennedy has appointed. It's a rot inside Lucasfilm that has kind of, as rot does, just kind of spread throughout the whole superstructure and weakened it considerably. And here comes, Favreau and Filoni trying to patch it up. I also have some new reporting, a video I'm going to be putting out soon about Bob Chapek apparently is also on our side. I have some stuff on that as well. So I think it's amazing that it was as emotional for them as it was for us. And it was also very interesting to me that they were adamant that it would not be a deep fake, that it would have to be de-aging, because they wanted Mark Hamill on set. And it would have simplified things enormously in terms of the shoot not to have Mark Hamill on the set, because then shit, you could plow Clue until the cows came home. Nobody would, there wouldn't even be any risk. Just be a guy over there, cranking away, making a deep fake Luke, and no one's the fucking wiser. I mean, it didn't enter or leave the editing bay, but no, it was like sacred. It was like a sacred thing, and I approve. I think I would feel exactly the same way. If Mark Hamill was up for it, he had to be there. And I'm glad he was, I mean, and I hope he will be in the future. I hope this is not the last we will see of Luke Skywalker. I think it's vitally important that we get more Luke Skywalker as time goes on. And hopefully he will, along with Grogu, be erasing the Disney sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I think that's critical, not only for you and I, but for the fans at large. And what you said just now is exactly right. And it's something that, and again, I think this is one of the reasons why people like you and I get along so well. We think a lot alike in those terms, because I said when immediately after, the final episode of Mando season 2, and you had some people out there complaining that, they could have done a better job, that this, that didn't really look right and all this. And of course we had the great Shamook, who was just a unique talent, did his deep fake that he put out on YouTube, which got him hired by ILM, by the way. And I'm sure he's busy at work on Indy 5 right now. Very busy with Indy 5. But, Shamook is a special guy. But I said the same thing. And I told people this when I was on Echo Base with our mutual friends, Coach and Nick, and Midnight's Edge, same thing. And you and I have talked about this. Just like you said, it had to be Hamill. There's a history there where his character, because Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker, period, end of story, and he was treated with so much disrespect by Kennedy and what they did to him in The Last Jedi, to the point to where, like, Kennedy was trying to shut him the hell up on stage during public events with her and Rian Johnson, because he kept going, this isn't Luke. I don't know who this is. This is Jake Skywalker. And finally, it was like they couldn't bring Hamill to events anymore because he wouldn't shut the hell up. And good for him, but it segues into the next part of this. And I think this was the part that a lot of folks on YouTube are going to key in on. So we had the rumor from Mikey Sutton passed down to Midnight's Edge, which came out over the weekend. So Tom and Andre, hats off to you guys. I know some people are upset about it, but again, they're just like Doomcock. They're reporting information they're getting from sources that they deem to be relatively reliable as far as they can tell, right? This is just how it works. So this guy, Mikey Sutton from Geekosity, says that, Kathy's going to get renewed. Disney's looking at it from a standpoint of every movie brought in over $1 billion. And, that's all there is to it. And, she's Kathleen Kennedy. So unless she really wants to walk away, she's going to leave. Then today, this morning, or yesterday morning, for those of you watching it now, Thursday morning, as we broadcast this, Jon Favreau, in this episode of The Gallery, kind of right off the bat, he thanks a lot of folks that helped him get this episode and The Mandalorian together. And of course, one of them was Kathleen Kennedy. And then he goes on a little later in the episode to talk about, again, briefly, and this was maybe 20 seconds of conversation out of a 42-minute episode, where he says that, Kathy she's a great producer. We went to her, we talked to her early on, blah, blah, blah. And, she helped us get everything set up. I'm paraphrasing, but, the whole great producer thing was in there. So a lot of folks reacted to this as more, she's, well, they're going to renew her and Mikey Sutton's right and all this kind of stuff. And my reaction was kind of, what the hell else did you expect him to say? I mean, this is like the Bob Chapek call earlier this year. So I wanted to get your take on this and talk a little bit about that. Talk about what you have heard compared to some of these other rumors, because you have been kind of the spearhead on this stuff with Kathleen Kennedy and her retirement, quote unquote.
Well, I've been checking high and low, and I've been hitting up all my sources, and nobody's heard a damn thing about it. I mean, nobody Nobody, not one of my sources says, yep, there's something to this. They're talking to her. One of my sources said that Kathleen Kennedy, I put this in my last video, Kathleen has been trying to suck up to the killer bees, Chapek and Iger, trying to change their minds, but thus far, to that point, has not been successful. I don't know. I mean, if there is something in her contract, then it's a poison pill like unto, Kurtzman and Viacom CBS, and Star Trek is as dead as a fucking corpse with a series of firecrackers stuck up its ass and a long fuse. And I mean, it's like how much deader can you be? Well, let's stand back and find out. Let's light these firecrackers, see what happens.
Hold my beer and watch this. Yeah. That's
right. It's going to blow. May the Lord take a liking to you and blow you up real good. But the thing is, if that's the case, if she comes back, Star Wars is probably finished. Such is the antipathy that fans have. There's been no indication. There's been tons of indications that she won't, including the article in Forbes that came out that was just like, a shot across the bow of Disney, and also the Atlantic article talking about the mismanagement of Star Wars. I mean, none of these things come out unless someone high up at Disney is okay with it. And my sources said it came right from the executive suite that they wanted this information out there. And you don't want the information out there if Kennedy is sticking around. I mean,
you would think so. And the last big show I kind of did like this with an interview format was, in fact, on that article from the Atlantic, and Cameron Pasha and I sat down and talked about it for a good 30 minutes. And it's the same conclusion as what you just said, is that, information like that goes out there for a reason, especially when it's basically kind of like this episode of The Gallery that came out today. It's in the middle of nothing. There's no Star Wars new properties coming out right now. The MCU is blowing and going with new stuff coming out, and that's another conversation. But with Star Wars, there's nothing going on right now. And all this stuff is piling up in the months leading up to what, by all accounts, we have to presume is Kennedy's renewal in October, because she's had a consistency of 3-year contracts, which, of course, on the business side, which, this is what I like to talk about. Bob Chapek has made it very clear since his taking the full reins of Disney in January of this year, that, these long-term contracts, this is a thing of the past. This is not going to continue at Disney, because I think,
thank God.
Because if you look at it right now, look what's going on at Disney. Bob Iger has walked into the CEO position at Disney. Now, he was supposed to walk into this a year and a half ago. Well, a year before he took it over. It was supposed to be January of 2020. And then the coup hit. Iger stayed in as co-CEO. He's still chairman. But, Chapek basically has been saddled with these contracts that Iger signed with not only Kennedy, but also of Feige. Now, we know Kennedy's, we can presume, was about 3 years. Feige's might have been even longer. And you look at what the state of the MCU is right now, and a guy like Chapek, you have to imagine, who is not a Hollywood creature like Bob Iger was. He's got to be looking at this going, shit. What do I do with this? So I don't know if that's something that your spies stay plugged into. It, I know they tend to be more Lucasfilm, but hopefully you can get some guys that are over there at Marvel sometimes, find some stuff out, because I think as much fun as we've had with Kennedy in the past few years getting information, I think Feige is the next shoe to drop.
Yeah, I think probably so. And the problem with these long-term contracts is fear, like greed, is good in Hollywood. And, a guy who's got an ironclad, 5-year contract gets complacent, gets arrogant, and almost inevitably runs astray. You know, I mean, you don't have to try. It's kind of like being a tenured professor. You know, if you've got like this enormous contract with some kind of bullshit renewal thing that'll kick in automatically or some shit like that, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. And it just bleeds you dry. I mean, I don't need any sources to know what's going on with Feige. I just look at I've got a source that feeds me, hard numbers from inside the ratings of Disney Plus, and I tell you, the writing is just all over the wall. Cruella not doing great, Black Widow not doing great, WandaVision, Loki, Winter Soldier, all these things not doing so hot. Definitely has not had the effect that they wanted. And now you're getting rid of this Shang-Chi and fucking Eternals. It's looking awful. I mean, you don't even need insiders. Just look. Yeah. Just look at the shit that's coming out. Compare that to Iron Man. Compare that to Captain America, the first Avenger. Compare it to the golden days of the MCU. And then look at this shit. We've got Riri Williams, the fucking, in the Iron Man outfit. And it's just honest to God, all the rumors were true. I was reporting on these rumors a year ago that it was going to become the MCU. And son of a bitch, it sure is.
You've had a pretty good track record with that. I'll give you that. And you bring up these trailers, and it's, Black Widow, that's been the best thing in terms of premiere access by far and away, I think, so far that Disney has had. They admitted that they reaped in about $125 million on premiere access from Black Widow. But like you said, when you still put it in comparison, combine that with the box office, Black Widow is still nowhere close. It's still the worst performing. It's worse than Ant-Man in terms of performance, which you would think this was a much more popular character than that. And then I thought it was funny. The Spider-Man trailer comes out last night because basically Marvel and Sony's hand got forced after it was leaked. And I don't know if you saw these numbers. I might be springing this on you, but to put this in perspective, folks, the first 24 hours of the in-game trailer on YouTube and other social media platforms globally, do you have any clue how many views it had? I don't know if you remember the stat, Doomcock. Do you
No, I don't recall.
289 million views in the first 24 hours when the trailer for in-game dropped. The new Spider-Man trailer that dropped yesterday afternoon, after 24 hours, you know how many views it had?
No.
335 million.
Huh.
It's nuts. And that's a Sony movie. Really not Disney.
Wow. So, yeah.
This is, and we were talking about this, talking relates to Disney, is that, you kind of wonder why they did not start phase 4 of the MCU with that movie. But that might be a
Peter Parker's not a girl. That's why.
You're probably right on that one. So, but real quick,
an embarrassing vestige of white male privilege. And so, they're kind of trying to sweep it under the rug here with a leaked, botched, trailer release, and then this one. But it's going to, probably blow out everything that Feige's been doing.
Which would be really something, because the whole point of that, bringing that stat up is, since we were talking about Feige, is that character, as far as the movies are concerned, that's really under the control of Sony. Not really so much under the control of it's not like it's a Kevin Feige exclusive. They basically leased out Doctor Strange and some other characters to them to use in that movie like they had before. But it's interesting to see, Chapek has his hands full at this point, it seems. And just one last thing on this Kennedy aspect, and I know I mentioned this to you. I want to give you a chance to make some comments on this, and then we'll close out. Favreau made the comments he did about Kennedy, praising her, quote unquote, and all this kind of stuff. But the striking thing to me is that, once again, just like she has been for almost 2 years, Kennedy was obviously very absent, once again, from making an appearance in this episode. Right. And everywhere else, when they talked to Kathy and all this about bringing Luke back, we're talking 2 years ago at this point. It was long before the demise, the change that we've had where Favreau was apparently given carte blanche to go right around her and speak to Iger and Chapek directly and take marching orders or get permission directly from them. Kathy wasn't in this episode. She hasn't been around. She's continued to be muzzled. So let me ask you this as a final thought. Let's say that in some capacity she is renewed, or if she is renewed, maybe she's renewed for 6 months or a year even, so she can finish out the post-production of Indiana Jones or God knows what. But at this point, it seems clear that even if she gets renamed as a studio head, maybe of Lucasfilm, maybe of some other sub-studio that Disney will create to let her go off and do her own thing, God knows. But if at that point it seems that Favreau and Filoni still have relative autonomy when it comes to creating new Star Wars content, how would you feel? How do you think the fans will react to that? Will they take that as a win, or will they walk?
I don't know. I think they'll be angry. I'll be angry. And I mean, it's just like, you don't reward somebody that's been spitting in the faces of fans for years. I mean, beyond a certain point, look, Sutton agrees, and I agree, and all my sources agree that the Lucasfilm Civil War is over, and Favreau and Filoni won. Sutton even said, well, she'll be back in her regular position, but Favreau and Filoni will be in charge of Star Wars. So, I mean, that pretty much is the definition of the Lucasfilm Civil War is over.
Right.
They won. But beyond a certain point, that isn't the sole consideration. It's like the Klingon Empire and, the quintessential devil in these matters, James Tiberius Kirk. The quintessential devil in all these matters is Kathleen Kennedy. And, there can be no peace as long as Kathleen Kennedy's career and Lucasfilm lives. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. I mean, it's like, Spock in Space Seed, where he said, would you reveal to war-weary populations that some 80 Napoleons might still be alive? So are you going to reveal to a shell-shocked and war-weary fandom that she's back? I mean, how can you believe in anything anymore? How can you take consolation? Because they're not going to then say, well, it's only honest to God for 6 months, and then we promise she's gone. They're not going to say that. No, they're not going to say that. And this whole thing about she needs to be reappointed or something for fucking Indiana Jones 5 is complete and total bullshit. It's total bullshit. Executive producers do not need to be president of the studio. They're executive producing for it. Happens all the time. In fact, 99.9% of the time, it's not an executive producer that is running the fucking studio. So that's bogus. And why would you even consider that anyway, since she's done such a bang-up job on Indiana Jones 5? It's a goddamn train wreck right now. So I look, it's just we get sick and tired of seeing these people fail upward. So I think it's going to really hurt Star Wars. I think the average fan is just going to see Kathleen Kennedy is in, and they're going to say, "I'm out," and that's that. And I'm sorry, it's just it's like Stalin's back, but he's going to behave this time. And it's like, tell that to the 26 million murdered Soviet citizens in his purges. No, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, I agree. I think Star Wars in particular, they're teetering on the edge of a very precarious and very steep cliff, and they have two directions they can go. They can step forward, or they can step back a little bit. And renewing Kennedy's contract, I think, would be the step over the edge. Even though Favreau and Filoni might have their autonomy to still produce quality content, the content they want, where Kathleen Kennedy would be told, just let them be. I think there's
Mhm.
still enough, like you said, there's still enough fan animosity there at this point. They don't want her name attached to any of this. And I would
Oh.
agree with them. And it's such a problem. So we'll see what happens. So you said you have a video coming up in the next couple of days, or just want to go ahead and plug it real quick before we bail out?
It'll be. I might have one out tomorrow or Friday. It just depends, and we'll see how it goes. I have way more information than I can even make videos of, and I don't know what's going on with YouTube lately, honestly. But last week I got a message that YouTube had updated in the background. And that's when my notifications didn't go out for my Archvillain live stream and everything else. And
I
then this
remember.
week, son of a bitch, yesterday, I got another notification that YouTube updated in the background. Jeez. So, I mean, every time that happens, things are malfunctioning, notifications not going out. You can't rely on your viewer numbers. And it's just been a debacle. So, honestly, I don't even know how eager I am to release a video until they stop updating the site. Because every time they do it, it's a complete disaster. So anyway,
Well, hopefully they've worked
but
out the kinks. Yeah.
yeah, at least potentially, it should be out tomorrow or Friday.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you're a busy, busy future ruler of the earth, and we thank you so much. Hopefully, maybe you can do some vacuuming tonight around Section X Studios. Get some housework done, man. Just take it easy.
Oh, that's all I've been doing. No, listen, I've been having so much. Yeah, it's no. It's been a tough time lately, and for the next month or so, it's going to keep being tough. But we'll get through it eventually.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. Please make sure, if you're not already subscribed to the great Overlord DVD, Dictor Van Doomcock, check out his channel, and we thank you all for being here tonight. And until next time, take care.